and welcome to Tête-à-Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest this week is Mustafa Barghouti. He is the president of the Palestinian National Initiative, and he joins us from Ramallah in the West Bank. Mustafa Barghouti, thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
The Israeli cabinet just approved a plan called Conquering Gaza. It aims at Israeli retaking control of Gaza, not just coming in and out, moving most of the population towards the south of the Gaza Strip in areas controlled by the Israeli Defense Forces. What is your reaction to this plan?
Well, Netanyahu and his government, which maybe should be described as the fascist government in Israel, want to solve the problem of occupation by increasing occupation. It's not enough that they are occupying the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and they have been occupying Gaza for a very long time till they were forced to get out of the internal part of Gaza. Now they want to reoccupy Gaza fully and completely. But what they are trying to do is very dangerous and represents the worst kind of violation of international law. After destroying 85% of all structures, all homes, all universities, all schools in Gaza, all health facilities and hospitals, now they want to destroy whatever remained, and they want to push the people from every part of Gaza into a concentration camp in the south, in Rafah, which was already erased to the ground. The reality of this plan is to put all the 2.1 million Palestinians in a concentration camp, put them in the most difficult condition, and then force them to leave. So practically, Israel is trying to combine three war crimes at the same time: the genocide, the collective punishment and starving people, as well as the ethnic cleansing of the population of Gaza, which is the worst kind of war crimes. Let me also reiterate that at this very moment, Gaza has been deprived for 66 days because of the Israeli siege from getting any food, any medications, any clean water. People are starving. We already have tens of children who died from starvation. We have 70,000 children who could die because of the terrible and severe malnutrition, and 2.1 million people are starving. And more than that, diseases are breaking out because Israel is also preventing vaccination from reaching Gaza. So we have the very serious threat of epidemics like poliomyelitis, tetanus, typhoid, diphtheria, and measles. It's a very grave situation and should not be allowed.
Well, what you're describing as Israel's intention seems to be, in a way, an implementation of the plan, if I may call it this way, put forth by Donald Trump, essentially transforming Gaza into a Riviera and telling the Palestinians that for their lives, it's better to get out of Gaza. So does Trump push Israel in that way?
President Trump made a mistake when he advocated a war crime of ethnic cleansing of Gaza, because what he spoke about is nothing but ethnic cleansing, removing a whole population from their country into some other places. I don't know how many countries will be receiving them, if they accept even to receive them. So the fact that President Trump advocated ethnic cleansing as a solution gave legitimacy to Netanyahu to keep repeating what he calls Trump's vision, although I think President Trump now himself realizes that it is unrealistic, and probably he has retreated from it, maybe not completely. But the reality is this is a war crime, whoever advocated it, whether it's the American president or Netanyahu himself or his fascist government. It's all about committing the worst kind of crime in modern history, which is ethnic cleansing of the whole population. And that has been Netanyahu's plan from the very beginning. Probably he put in Trump's head this whole idea of ethnic cleansing.
There's also talk of maybe a US-led transitional authority in Gaza. Could this be an acceptable idea, or is this totally unacceptable for Palestinians?
It's not just unacceptable, it's also unrealistic. Why do we need another colonial power to control us? Israelis have been colonizing us and controlling our lives for 78 years, 77 years. And they have deprived us from the right of self-determination, from the right of freedom, from the right of having a democratic system. Why would another colonial presence solve the problem? The solution is very simple. It is to allow Palestinians to govern themselves and to end this war, accept the Palestinian proposal, which is to give back all the Israeli captives in return of freeing some of the Palestinian prisoners, who are, by the way, 10,000 prisoners in Israeli jails subjected to most terrible treatment, including also starvation, to have an exchange of prisoners, end this war, and then allow a Palestinian unity government to take over the responsibility with the help of international community and Arab countries, and to start reconstructing this whole damage that was made to Gaza, which is so horrible. This is the solution. Why would Palestinians accept to be ruled by others instead of having the right to rule themselves? And by the way, a national consensus government will not include Hamas, because Hamas told all the Palestinian parties, including ourselves, that they are ready not to be in the government or be the government, but a national consensus independent government could guarantee the unity between West Bank and Gaza, having one government for both areas, and thus sustaining the very potential for having a Palestinian independent state, something that France supports, something that many other countries of the world support, but Netanyahu and his government reject.
Right. The problem is obviously still Hamas, but also the Palestinian Authority. I mean, the West says it wants to revitalize Palestinian Authority, but President Abbas was elected 20 years ago. He's very unpopular. You are in Ramallah. You know about this. I mean, should there be really a new kind of leadership? No more Hamas,
Absolutely.
No more Palestinian Authority.
What we need is democracy. What we need is democratic elections. I ran against Mr. Abbas in 2005, and then we didn't have any new elections since 20 years. So the Palestinian opposition never had the chance to run again. The reform that the West speaks about is welcomed if it is a true reform. But they don't speak about democratization of the Palestinian entity. They don't talk about free democratic elections, which we need very much, as you say, since we didn't have elections since 20 years. They speak only about security arrangements that serve the interest of Israel, without taking into consideration the security needs of the Palestinian people. A true reform means free democratic elections. A true reform means allowing the Palestinian people to choose and elect their leaders freely and democratically. Especially that we now use fully proportional system, which means no single party can get absolute majority. You are absolutely right. We need reform. But what is reform? Reform should be democratic reform, and not imposing on Palestinians who should be leading them, or imposing on Palestinians some kind of a new colonial system.
Right. On the diplomatic level, there's talk about maybe France, the UK, eventually recognizing symbolically Palestinian statehood. There's also talk of a normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. We've seen normalization between Israel and several Arab states who haven't broken up their diplomatic ties, despite what you described at the onset of this interview. Would a Saudi normalization with Israel be a betrayal of the Palestinian cause in the current circumstances?
Saudi Arabia was the country that proposed the so-called Arab Initiative. And the Arab Initiative spoke about normalization only after Israel ends its occupation of Palestinian occupied territories according to international law. and in implementation of no less than 1,000 UN General Assembly resolutions and no less than 85 Security Council resolutions that were never implemented. So normalization will happen after Israel ends the occupation and allows Palestinian state to take place.
What if it happens before?
Allows Palestinian. I don't think the Saudis will go in that direction as long as this war goes on in Gaza, as long as Israel is not only occupying the West Bank, but planning to also reoccupy Gaza completely. This will not lead to normalization. And when we speak about France and other countries recognizing Palestine, this is welcomed because it would mean consolidating the recognition of the right of the Palestinian people of self-determination. But to be frank with you, if we want to speak about something effective and not just an act of hypocrisy, recognition of a Palestinian state should be accompanied by demanding a total end of Israeli illegal occupation of Palestinian land, demanding the removal of the illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank, and of course, the recognition of the Palestinian state. If these three things are there, then we can speak about a sincere intention to end this terrible, terrible confrontation, which has lasted for more than 100 years, by allowing Palestinians to have what everybody else has in this world, which is freedom and self-determination and independence.
Mustafa Barghouti, I want to thank you very much for being our guest this week on Tête à Tête, France 24's interview show, and thank you all for watching it.
Thank you.